Thanks for that intro, Jerry. Magmatic Resources are a gold copper explorer focused in the East Lachlan of New South Wales. We've got an advanced target portfolio purchased out of Goldfields 2014. We're surrounded by some of Australia's largest gold producer there at Cadia East and some major long-lived mining operations and some recent major discovery stories, in particular the Boda discovery. I'll run through our current activities and future plans, and I'll also touch on our spin-out that we did, the Australian Gold and Copper AGC, which provided the company and shareholders with exposure to other discovery hotspots, including the Southern Cobar Basin. Glenn spoke about that yesterday. As an overview, East Lachlan, it's a world-class terrain, gold copper terrain. As I said, Australia's largest gold producer currently at Cadia East, producing around about 900,000 ounces, about $50 all-in cost with the gold, with the copper credits, around about $1 billion cash flow a year. Globally significant mining operation. Other significant operations include the copper gold porphyry district there at North Parks, Seamox Sumitomo, and Cal Gold Mine, purchased by Evolution out of Barrick 2014. That's been a great story in New South Wales, taken it from 3 million ounces to up over 10 million ounce gold endowment there. Really reflecting, the potential of the region, and Tomingley Alkane's Tomingley discovery success south of the mine there, and their Tomingley gold operations. They're looking at a multi-million ounce system there, over 2 million ounces or so. So I'll talk about the recent discoveries and the relationship there with our projects in places like Boda and also the Tomingley discoveries. Talk a lot about Wellington North project, where we're most active north of Cadia and essentially surrounding that Boda discovery, and that's a real opportunity for us. So we're very actively progressing and advancing multiple targets in that area as we go, as you can see there, and I'll touch on them. There's some significant existing intersections and things that we're working up ourselves. It's exciting times for the company in that region, generally for the mining industry in that region, north of Australia's largest gold producer. Also, we have a copper-focused project north of North Parks. We feel, again, significant existing intersections there that we're just drilling underneath. We feel like we're learning quickly in terms of vectoring towards the high-grade portions of that. In January, we drilled a hole underneath at our Kingswood target, underneath a significant intersection, an area that we prioritise highly, and a nice wide intersection there, 400 or so metres at 0.2 to the end of hole. And our third project, we have some shallow gold intersections to trace up and target south of the Tomingley gold mine and discoveries. And as you can see there, significant existing intersections, very much akin to those early discovery type hits that Alkane had success drilling underneath. An Australian Gold and Copper listed, IPO'd in January this year. We demerged one of our projects and alongside a private explorer pulled in a couple of other projects, and they're a central Lachlan or Western New South Wales focused group, and doing some great work in the Southern Cobar Basin, where they're identifying base metal sulfides over the top of some serious conductive geophysical features. So magmatic exposure to those stories as well, and what that's also done for us is it's refocused us very clearly on our East Lachlan opportunities. We know where the value is going to come from for Magmatic. Corporate, we tightly held. Goldfields sit on the register as a major shareholder. That reflects the original purchase back 2014 of the assets out of Goldfields, and that's particularly relevant in porphyry exploration, in that a lot of the baseline data sets that take 5-6 years to build up, we've got the benefit of working with those now. So hence, I'm not just saying the advanced target portfolio. There's been a serious amount of work and money invested to get this portfolio to the point it's at. So we feel like we have an opportunity to go for some of these big targets, high value targets. We've got alignment, and obviously a lot of skin in the game there from the board, well funded to deliver a lot of discovery opportunities in the near term. On the East Lachlan, as I keep saying, it's a major producing area for Australia and globally significant mining operations, especially Cadia East there. You can see the location of MAG's tenure there in orange, and in particular northern Molong Belt, north of Cadia Valley, in and around surrounding that Alkane's fantastic Boda discovery. North of North Parks, our Mile project, a real look-alike in terms of that porphyry district, as you'll see, and south from Tomingley within the Parks fault zone, where we have those orogenic shallow hits that we'll be chasing up. Zooming in on that Wellington North project, this air mag image is a bit complicated, but you see in black MAG's tenure and the position there in blue of Alkane's tenure and the position of Kaiser and Boda. Multiple targets, some pretty compelling surface geochemistry that we're following up systematically, but also ranking based on what we've learned from the Boda experience and what's out there. Rose Hill completed a diamond hole recently, some really encouraging signs, alteration, existing mineralisation there at Rose Hill, that's equivalent to the Cadia East resource grades. So there's a lot to like about this portfolio in particular, and its setting around the Boda discovery as it emerges. We saw as recently as Monday this week that there's still some fantastic high-grade intercepts that are being released out of that discovery, and Alkane are defining that aggressively. Lady Ilsa as well, named after one of our geologists, Ilsa, a significant target, a significant zone of gold anomalism, very much akin to the early stage discovery hits around Boda. These low levels of but wide broad zones of gold and porphyry pathfinders, and some zones of copper there too, and you'll see that there's plenty of upside on that target as well. On Rose Hill, we've done a relatively early diamond hole here, existing drilling, typical of a lot of these East Lachlan porphyries and porphyry-related systems. They're actually off the main mag highs, they're off the edges of the main intrusive stocks. So again and again you see that relationship where the main brines have come in a little bit later along the edges of those stocks. So the mag highs get you close, but they're not right on the money. And that's evident at Kaiser, pretty much all of the East Lachlan systems, and you'll see that again shortly on the North Parks and Mile targeting that we're doing. So we're hitting bornite veins in an area that we prioritise deeper down on that hole, definitive bornite quartz epidote alkalic porphyry veins, which is encouraging. We're seeing chalcopyrite, we're seeing chalcocite, encouraging alteration there, and actually from what Alkane's releasing in terms of what the appearance is of their high-grade zones at Boda, where there's these breccia semi-massive zones of pretty spectacular looking chalcopyrite in breccias and structural breccias. We're seeing things that look particularly like that here. Chalcopyrite intergrown and associated with epidote veining, very much something you look for in terms of the gold porphyries, and plenty of hematite alteration, plenty to like there with assays pending. We've got Lady Ilsa. We've been active here for very active in the last sort of 18 months. Wide zone of gold in regolith anomalism, very extensive and open to the north and south. Bedrock drilling is indicating the system's open to the north and south. We're seeing significant wide zones there. There's also a copper-rich zone to the north here, and we feel like we may well have some, similar to Boda, which is unfolding there. There's some high-grade northwest structurally upgraded zones potentially, and we think that could also be the case here as we're interpreting the data. We see a lot of hits here which are very much akin to early discovery hits at some of the major East Lachlan porphyry systems. Across to Mile in that Junee narrow mine belt, north of North Park's about 50 kilometres. And one of the really elegant things here is on the potential field imagery and the gravity. It's fairly obvious where the existing mining fields are coincident with localised districts of gravity lows. These are the underlying intrusive complexes which are driving the porphyry districts. They're clustered systems, so along the edges of these deep-seated quartz-rich felsic intrusive complexes, which are very light in the gravity dataset compared to the overriding dense rocks of the belt itself. So at that scale, I think it's very compelling that mile project within that belt represents somewhere to go looking. And of course, this was built up, and Goldfields spent a significant amount of money, and previous explorers have, in this area. And you can see that at that scale, we're seeing, compared to North Parks and that Ganumbla intrusive complex, we're seeing all the right signs there in terms of what you want to see with these copper porphyry systems and porphyry clusters. We're applying our knowledge in terms of, as I said, the edges of the monzonite stocks, very important control locally. And sure enough, some of the big hits are sitting in that setting that are existing there at the base of cover. And we've just completed this hole which is targeting that position, down dip, down plunge from pretty significant intercept already. I mean, that's resource grade material down the road at North Parks already. So we're trying to dress this up and be clever, but it was a pretty sensible hole, this one, but it ticked a lot of boxes. And what you see in the North Park systems, the gold-rich zones within these pencil porphyries are down deep in the core, and we see a pretty typical alteration assemblage up here, which we're also seeing at Kingswood, which is giving us some encouragement that we've got preservation of the system down dip. So we'll drill this, we'll keep drilling this down dip, and we're hoping and we're interpreting that that'll increase in grade as we track it down. We've got multiple targets that are sort of showing this relationship. Sorry. And our third project there at Parks, within the Parks fault zone south of Tummingley, you can see the discoveries there. It's up around a 2 million ounce gold endowment there now. We're about 25 kilometres south within that Parks fault zone, and we've got about a 20 kilometre long zone of very encouraging surface geochem in terms of gold and arsenic, classic orogenic Pathfinder suite there as well. And we've got a series of existing drill holes that you just drill underneath, very much akin to those early stage exploration hits that Alkane was so successful at when they drilled under them. And then just on the Australian gold and copper, the demerger of our Moorfield project and the acquisitions that we made at that time from private explorer New South Resources, and Glenn Demar spoke about this yesterday. But very, very pleasing to see, because the idea here was to expose Magmatic and our shareholders to what we felt was a really exciting and emerging discovery hotspot in New South Wales, the Southern Cobar Basin, along the eastern margin of the basin, where there was a lot of encouragement and pre-competitive state geophysics had been flown recently in the last 12 months, and show some pretty compelling prospectivity there. And only a few days ago, that group and Glenn's team released some great results in terms of the exploration, what you would expect over the top of these conductive features. And you certainly look very quickly to discoveries such as Federation and Hera and some of those great stories that were the making and ongoing making of groups like Aurelia Metals. So we're very happy to be exposed to that story as well. And we're sharing costs and overheads and sharing offices, and it's working really well between the teams. From MAG's side, the investment proposition, we've got strong news flow. We're excited to work up multiple targets in those key areas. Strategic location around that Boda discovery north of Cadia. We think we're very close to making some breakthroughs there in terms of significant discoveries. We've got the follow-up work to be done at Kingswood and other targets at Mile. and drilling planned there in that orogenic Parkes fault zone as well. So busy period, and very excited to be a part of. Thank you very much. And if you need any more information, please seek us at booth 36, strategically located next to the coffee cart there.
Thanks, Pete.